What's going on? What's going on? Brutus here, bringing you another base building episode. Widely requested, largely requested, and really late. So I apologize for that. But I did bring on, you can tell from the title of the video, a member from One Hive's base building team, which is pretty deep. I have JakeTheRake here, the new meta. You might remember him from that. But I'm going to go ahead and just hand it over to him, and he's going to talk through some of the new base building tips, what he kind of looks for, and how he builds bases. So without further ado, it's all yours, JakeTheRake.
Yep, thanks for having me on again. Glad you got me on after last time, even though I did triple. But so yeah, we're going to be looking at some Talon 9 base building, and so just going over before you even start building, you need to generally you get a general concept of what your base is gonna look like. So what I personally like to do, and I might not do it as much now as I'm a little more experienced, but I still do it, and I did it a lot before, is look at parts of bases that did well in other wars that are just maybe some unique ideas, and just try and incorporate them in your bases. Just look what did well, look what works, and try and use that. So also, something to just look for is just your war starts, you're looking through which base you want to hit, and you press pass. You go on the next base, you go on the next base. Go back to that base and ask yourself, why did you pass on that base? What makes you want to skip it? What are those, what in the base makes you want to skip it? That makes
That's
it
a really
difficult.
good advice. What was that? Why were you so easy to be like, oh, that's not, I'm not going to immediately crush that. That's really good advice. What can you learn from that base?
Yeah, I always do that. Always check and make sure, see weaknesses and make sure when you're building that you don't have those weaknesses, that when you attack, make sure you don't have those things, and then when you pass the base as well. So when you're building, you will fail. Everybody fails. I'll build a base and I'll just be like, good try, Jake, but we're on to the next one. So, you build a base, don't be like, okay, I build a base, I'll post it in the base room and see what everybody thinks. Look at the base, evaluate it, and decide if it's good or if it's bad. And if it's not, look at what made it bad and make sure you don't do it again. Learn from your mistakes. So then, when you start to build, you pretty much just do what you're comfortable with. Everybody has their own style. I have my own style. I personally like to start with the Archer Queen. I think that's probably the best place to start, just because everything revolves around the Archer Queen. A lot of people will start with the core, but really, if you look at a base, the first thing you look at is the Archer Queen. You don't look at, what's in the core necessarily, but that's just your main focus, and that's what your base is, pretty much built around. So the meta is constantly changing. So this video could be irrelevant in 2 weeks. I don't know. But as of now, and as of what I've pretty much done of all of Season 1 in CWL, is I used a lot of 9x9 compartments. And these compartments, they give the Archer Queen less value. She'll be in a compartment and she can only reach so many things, because in 9x9 comp, she can't reach, the building behind the building that she can hit, if that makes sense. But they also stop big kill squads. So if you're trying to, get across the base with 2 jumps, typically harder with those 9x9s. Storages can be used to split a base in half. This is just something that you can use, or use storages in the core to stop big kill squads. I really like anti-kill squad bases because stoned hobo can just be so powerful and mindless that you got to do something to stop it. And when you build your base, make sure 2 jumps just can't easily cover your base, and that's also to protect against stoned, which is probably one of the main strats to look at your base when you're checking it to see if it's good. The other one is obviously going to be Lalo. I'll get in that later. And make sure your compartments aren't too big. Compact bases typically. You don't want compartments that are usually bigger than 9x9 unless you're doing like a old meta 11x11 queen compartment. So going into more of the Archer Queen placement, you want to place, well, most of the time I place my Archer Queen where she's like offset to one side. She's offset to one side, and as you can see in the picture right here, I got my Archer Queen box right here. She's on that 7 o'clock side. She can't hop to the outside of the base. She can't hop in the core, which is okay. But that really, if you have your Archer Queen like that, it really helps against Lalo because you have those, you have their air defenses on the other side. So that's what the main purpose is there. So that's what I typically do, but there's also a few more things. Core Queen also isn't a bad option, and we'll flip to the next base here. So now we have the queen that can hop over the wall, which typically you may think is, not good because you could maybe suicide royal Lalo. But if you're going to have a queen like that, you got to have big trash ring like I have here. And this cannon technically is a 1-for-1 trade with loons, but you can have it there to help protect the queen a little bit because there's a Tesla farm threat, basically. I mean, the attacker doesn't know, and there very well could be one there. Very well might not. So that's all okay. The CC is outside, so if somebody does try and put a golem on that cannon, CC comes out. You're going to want like a baby drag Valk CC with this kind of placement. And yeah, this can be used. You see I got no core defenses. In this core I have just builder huts and some walls or whatever. This is a anti-kill squad, anti-big kill squad base because I also, if you can see down here, I have Dark Elixir Drills and the King. So that's very anti-kill squad.
What do you mean by really anti-kill squad? Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. So if I'm trying to come in from pretty much anywhere, 12, 3, if I'm coming in here, I got my jump spell with my kill squad, and I drop another jump spell right here. Golems are gonna be on this wall there, and then any troops that go into the core are gonna get taken out because there's no tankage going into the core. And then my Twiddler is a bit cut off, but here on this 9 to 6 side are flanking defenses. And because the golems are beating on that wall, backside hogs aren't going to do anything because they won't be tanked at all. And there'll be springs over there, giant bombs. So there's no way you can just, shattered or even stoned hobo a base with no core defenses. Which this base and many of the bases I'm going to show were used against Warwells in the conference finals, and if you don't know, Warwells is big on their stoned attacks, and this really, limited them to not using those attacks.
Is the anti-kill squad or anti-heavy 3 golem heavy kill squad, is that same mentality used for like a queen charge as well? As far as how you built that core like this in the middle?
Not necessarily, because if you're using a queen charge, like for example, this base was taken down with 4 quakes there and a queen charge in for 2 air defenses and the queen, and then Lalo on the 6 o'clock side. So typically, if you're using a queen charge like that, you're gonna Lalo. You usually don't use. I mean, you could use a queen charge and then a kill squad, but it is a big investment there. So it can limit anything, even a queen charge, their value going into the core there. But it just, throws off the attacker a bit with what they can use.
The option of how many options you have of Tesla farms alone is a pretty big deterrent. I mean,
yeah, these bases have so many Tesla farm options. They could be in the core. They could be, over there by the bomb tower. That's at like 430.
Where are the Teslas?
CC
in this one. Where are the Teslas? Because
on this,
everyone's looking at it, going, "I wonder where they are." Let's see if they're correct.
On this base, I'm pretty sure I did just 2 and 2, like at 12 and 9, but that could always be changed. I'm pretty sure that's where I put them if I can remember, and then I put like a bomb in between there or something like that
to force that early heal.
Yeah, we'll go into that later, but a lot of times on these types of bases, there aren't a ton of giant bomb spots, but that's not typically your main focus anyway. So now we'll go into the core Archer Queen bases. For the core Queen base, it does force, a kill squad to reach that Queen. It totally eliminates any possibility of Suicide Royals, Penta, or Quad Lalo, because you wouldn't use 5 hounds in this current meta. But when you use the core Archer Queen, you want to have many flanking defenses. And what I kind of mean by that is you see you got the expo compartments and you have these defenses right here at 3 and 9. These defenses are pretty tough to be tanked by golems with a kill squad. So, deploying hogs on those defenses is usually the hogs will be directly targeted. So, and the same goes with these 9x9, like these cannons up here. And you can jump and get to those. So I know this isn't the greatest base, but it is a decent example. Also wouldn't recommend the 4 air defenses like that. It's pretty easy lalo coming in.
Yeah, you could pick one compartment in the middle and get 2 air defenses.
Yeah, exactly. But so
bedtime, ladies.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put the bomb tower in the core with the queen and the CC if you're doing this kind of style. So golems will go to the core, which is okay. Just make sure you have those defenses towards the outside to stop a simple, shattered go-ho or something like that. And just for the sake of it, the Tesla farm on this base is right here. A little bit trolly. It stops fresh hits all
I will
the
tell
time.
you, I'll share because you saw me do it earlier. I didn't know this was going to be used as a talking point. And yeah, just throw it out there for FC. And I did not expect the Tesla farm to be up there, not even close. And when I entered, I basically took out this bottom section right here, like this. And then I laloed like that or something like that. Basically, I ended over here. And it was not pretty. This Tesla farm right here surprised the heck out of me and just ruined my day.
I'm pretty sure I put a Tesla farm and 3 red bombs, so you probably dropped a couple of balloons. And if you didn't know, 3 red bombs will take out, a pack of loons.
I did not know that math, but that's definitely a good rule to keep in mind.
Wouldn't always recommend it, but you can sometimes get somebody with it. Okay, so I think that'll cover everything about the queen. Next, we'll go into the CC. The CC, it goes in the core most of the time and is unlurable. But if you think back to that one base that I had with the Archer Queen that hops outside, I did go over that the CC was outside the base, and that's to prevent that golem entry right there for the queen. Take out that golem with a baby drag Valk CC, so they don't get big value from that side.
In all the bases that we looked at so far with the CC, if memory serves, the way that you favored a build, I never really noticed you to have a easy lure or basically a gimme lure with like the queen and the CC right next to each other, way offset, like easily right by each other. Can you talk through why your style doesn't lean that way?
Sure. Well, first off, the CC is just so valuable. You know, if you get that lure right off the bat, it just gives you so many more options. But even more so with this current meta, if you have a CC and Archer Queen off to the side, and you can just drop your Barb King and Archer Queen, take care of that, you can pretty much just quad Lalo the rest of the base with a ton of loons and haste and some heals, and 3-star it. So when on occasion where I do make bases with the CC outside and the queen near it, like the one we talked about earlier, um, I got all the trash buildings over there, and it's really, if you were going to try and suicide hero that, it would be very difficult to get your heroes in there as well. The Lalo would be a little bit difficult with the air defense placement.
Oh, that time might be an issue as well.
Yeah, that's true, because getting through that trash, any sort of walk or entry over there is just almost impossible unless you bring like a ton of blizzards.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of time to beat through just to get down to the queen and CC to aggro.
Yeah, that's something to note. Never overlook your trash buildings. They can be used. You can use camps to, make a entry very difficult. Sometimes people will use 4 camps and some trash buildings, and that automatically turns the attacker off from entering on that side of the base. It's just like, well, it'll take 5 seconds for my wall breakers to make it to the wall. There's no point.
Not only that, it's also for loons as well, that if you're trying, if they want to start a Lalo from that option, I know for one, whenever I'm seeing a base like that, and just after my envisioning where my kill squad is done, if I have to start my Lalo with a long travel time because of ridiculous amount of trash, even if you take care of the trash, I still can't deploy my loons that close to where they need to go. It makes me very uncomfortable as an attacker to time your loons just right to get them over there.
Yeah, that 2 seconds that the air defenses are on the hounds could make the difference in your raid. And some people might argue, oh, well, we can minion or archer trade all these trash buildings. Yeah, but in the end of the day, that's probably not going to make a difference. And you don't really see people bringing 10 archers for all the trash buildings, and still the spawn lines will stay regardless.
Yeah, good point.
So next we'll go into the bomb tower. The bomb tower is almost always going to go in between the Archer Queen and the CC. Just anywhere you can that covers Archer Queen and CC, because I've seen so many times and made so many plans with Goat, who loves doing this, where you just drop the skeleton spells and a rage spell, take out the Queen and the CC if there's no bomb tower there. And that's just like a huge no. Like, you cannot have that. That gives the attacker way too much value. Because then they still have their royals in the bag. So can't do that. Got to have that bomb tower. Generally, as long as it covers the CC, you're good. Because if it just covers the Archer Queen and the Archer Queen hops in the CC compartment, you can still do it. So just be aware of that. Always check that after you build your base, because that's necessary. You can use a wizard tower, but then if you're gonna Lalo, I've seen like Grandwich Addy do this a lot, and pretty much just anybody. If you come in, your Hound eventually gets to the Queen, Hound tanks the Queen and the wizard tower, and then the skeleton spells go down. The bomb tower is the only defense that doesn't target the air troops. So usually safest way is just use the bomb tower. Going over king placement, the king, and sorry I'm not drawing a lot, but I'm just going over all these fundamentals here. The king should typically be opposite side of the queen. This protects against hog attacks. It's always annoying if you have that king on the backside, because he will hack away at your hogs. If you have your king by your archer queen, it's basically just, a lot of the time, it's just giving up your king to the kill squad, because it's not a big deal for the kill squad.
Especially with rage bowlers.
Normally. Yeah, they go down real quick. But if your queen is, maybe a little bit farther towards the outside, maybe not a ton of defenses around her, you can use the king to protect the queen from like a suicide royals, if that is how your base is set up. So that can be used as well, but just be aware that a kill squad could get extra value by taking your king and your queen. Because I remember when I was first starting out building that where I placed my king was always something I never really could figure out. So just typically high condense defense areas, surround them with all those defenses on the backside so he hits the hogs. I'm going to switch over to a different base now, and we're going to start talking about some more defense fundamentals with the expos.
Okay, sounds good. So now we have a little bit more of what you were talking about with the offset queen, centralized AQ, and the BK far away from the AQ with that anti-hog that you were talking about. But what we're seeing now, I'll just let you take it away from here with this new base.
Yeah, this base is a bit of an exaggeration about what I was talking about before with the anti-big kill squad. You see, I have all those storages right there, basically splitting the base into half. No kill squad is going to come from the 12 to 3 side, from the 12 to 3 side to the 6 to 9 side. It's just almost impossible, really. So that really just splits the base in half and makes it difficult for the attacker to do anything.
Talking about with these flanking defenses, right? If somebody tried to come this way because of the this how many tiles away that these flanking defenses are. Is that what you were?
Yeah, even pretty much. Basically, yeah. Even if you do take out that half of the section, hogs aren't really going to get through much. And this is actually a base where I do have the bomb tower away from the queen. Queen does not hop into the CC compartment most likely. And even if she does, I do have those mortars there to protect her from going if somebody was trying to skelly that. So, that's a good example of when I didn't place the bomb tower there. Because that also... Or what was I going to say?
So this is the one that you say usually with the bomb tower, you have it around the queen to help protect. And I couldn't agree with you more that it protects against skeleton, the queen. Not even just before the attack happens because a wizard does that, a wizard tower does that. But if somebody is trying to Lalo your queen mid-flight with kill it with skeletons mid-flight of Lalo, that's where the bomb tower comes in because it doesn't target anything in the air. It'll target those skeletons on the bottom to help defend against that. But on this base, you have the bomb tower way over to the far left. Why is it that you placed it there and not over by the queen?
Well, typically I would place it in between the queen and the CC, but which was one, not necessary for this base with the mortars there, but also that would pretty much ruin the effect of the split base idea that I'm going on here. And if I were to move that bomb tower right where that wizard tower is, it wouldn't. If somebody were to come in with hounds and they were going to skelly that, the bomb tower radius would be out here or something. So a giant or a hog or something comes in right there, distracts it, and you can still skelly.
That's a good point.
It just wouldn't be, worth it if somebody can spend 5 troop space to counter it. So that's something to look for. If your bomb tower goes over the edge of the wall, they can just send a hog or a giant to distract it while they skelly. So that's basically what I was going through there. And going into the expo compartments, you see 9x9 expo compartments, and pretty much all the compartments are 9x9 for the most part. I have those like that just mainly because bowler kill squads are so popular, and that just slows down bowlers from taking away that expo. They are kind of split on both sides. You want your expos, hard to, you don't want both your expos really right next to each other usually, because then a kill squad comes through and takes them both out, and your expos are your major DPS there. So then you don't want those taken out so easily.
Especially with the double tile dead space, the one tile here, one tile here. That even if loons are coming this way, they go to this. then that, then this. The next nearest thing is actually this way, and then they go that way. They basically circle around that moat while it's being pelted by the expo. Even hogs do the same thing. And then bowlers, once they take this out, they're not going to actually target this. They're going to target this way because this is 2 tiles behind. It's a really good example.
Yeah, it pretty much just separates the expos from the other defenses and keeps the expos shooting at the troops longer. Similar to the Inferno Tower compartments that you'll see at Town Hall 10. That's the whole theory behind that. I do have those sweepers in the expo compartments. That's okay. You might want to watch out because that can draw troops closer to your expo. Or if bowlers get the correct bounce, they can get a few bounces on the expo. But typically, that's fine to do. And then I have those sweepers pointed towards the non-air defense side. That's basically because if you come in with a Lalo, here at 9 o'clock, and then you take out those air defenses right away, and your loons are coming onto that expo, and then you have all those wizard towers and archer towers down there at 6, the defenses are just going to be nailing the loons, not the hounds. So that's what you want. You don't want the attacker to come in from 6 with hounds. It's cut off on my screen, but hound coming in from 6 and those loons hasted right behind. The hound tanks the loons, so you don't want that. That's why you're using your sweepers to try and prevent that as much as you can. Oh, okay. I actually got that uncut off. So let's see. Next, I have so expos are 9x9, and then I also almost always on my bases. This is typically my style. Not saying you have to do all these expo compartments or whatever, but this is just what I do. And I have these 9x5, I think, compartments bordering the expos, and these just ensure that the expos aren't walkable, because if you have walkable expos, that's just giving up so much value. Somebody can just come in with an easy walk and take out your biggest DPS provider right off the map. So I have those compartments.
I can't. I learned the hard way that how those compartments are not walkable. I remember in last season versus One Hive Genesis, I honestly did counting tiles and vision and queen and all that. I really thought the queen would get it, but just the way that her AI is, it's rare if ever she'll target that bow on a walk. So I know exactly what you're talking about, and I was so confused, like how come she didn't get it, but she never does.
Yeah. I also, if you can see, I have this little wall piece right here at it's like 2 o'clock and at 8. Those are unnecessary. At one point in time, I thought you needed those to stop the Archer Queen from reaching the expo, but you don't need those. You can have nothing there, and as long as you have that 9x5 compartment buffering, Queen can't reach that expo, and you're good. Those help also. Those 9x5 compartments are really useful because those are also more flanking defenses that aren't easily tanked for hogs. And then just generally going over placing other defenses. Your wizard towers cannot cover air defenses. Back in the old meta, that was like, if you posted a base with wizard towers covering air defenses, somebody would get on you about it, but you didn't need to change it. But now it's necessary. Stopping those loons coming in, your wizard towers are your biggest threat, as well as like your red bombs. So keep those wizard towers away from the air defenses, and the archer towers as well. So you want the wizard towers and archer towers away from the air defenses. So on this base, you can see that that's basically what's going on. You have cannon. Or I'll switch colors here so I can outline. So you got cannon by air defenses, cannon, mortar. Mortars and cannons typically by the air defenses. And then you want your archer towers and wizard towers pretty much where the air defenses are not. This makes sure that, because your air defenses are air covering, so you don't need archer towers over there. and this also can help protect against dragons and such. So that's just always something you need to
This
be
base
aware
looks
of.
beastly, man. I can't help but look at it, and obviously it's very anti-Lalo with the air defenses and the sweeper placement and everything you just talked about. And yeah, that's pretty damn scary. It's pretty damn scary to hit.
Yeah, I'll take that as a compliment. You just gotta try and be creative. Coming up with this, I was just thinking, like defenses in the core. If I take those out and you can't get a kill squad across the base, makes hogs pretty irrelevant. And then I got the air defenses like that. So just come up with ideas like that. Try and be creative or use ideas that have worked on other people's bases and then implement them on your own. And you'll fail. And then after a couple tries, maybe you'll get a good one.
Wait. I got to see if I'm right. Tesla? Well, knowing your sweepers, you might have put it over here, but I'm thinking Teslas. And no way you'd put it over there. Teslas?
Good try.
Are they all down here with the sweeper?
Oh, you're not guessing, dude. This is another base. I love these troll Teslas. I'm going to be honest. I saw a Dark Looter space that had Teslas on the outside like that, just in between trash on the outside randomly, and it screws up fresh hits so well. And then I do that on a lot of my bases, not every single one, but yeah, it really catches attackers off guard. If you can see that yellow over there.
We can came through. And it's a good point. I mean, because back in the day, the meta for Town Hall 9 was not all the 9s got cleared way back in the day. Like, it was hard. And if you could defend a couple of times, like, it was doable. Nowadays, if you can defend once, the base did its job. Like, and those Teslas like that, where it's just so funky and when you're not expected, sometimes that's all you need to not get that 3, whether it's time or just caught off guard. I think that comes to that other saying that if it's dirty or it's overkill, a 3 is a 3 because fresh hit is really the goal in the grand scheme of the war.
Yeah, basically you just got to do whatever you can. Make sure that attacker doesn't get that fresh hit. Now we're going to go into some air defenses. These, I guess I've been putting these off for a little bit, but your air defense placement is your most important because Lalo, as of right now, as of this video recording, is so powerful that that's your main focus in defending. We did go over a lot of big kill squad and defending hogs and all that, but this is your main focus right here. So I will switch to a different base here.
Okay.
In just 1 second, we'll be back. Yeah, so we're going into the air defense placement, and as you can see, we have air defense in couples right here at the 3 and 6 side, and then pretty much the rest of the base is the queen and the air targeting defenses, all up here in this 9 to 12 side. So basically on these bases, because there's a few different types of air defense placements, you can get a little bit creative with this. I use a lot of these kinds of bases, but even these ones where you may look at this as an attacker and be like, oh, I'm going to send my hounded and there's going to be 2 air defenses on it, no way I can Lalo. You can still Lalo. You can Lalo almost any base. So when you have these 2 and 2 kind of bases, you want them divided. You don't want to be able to get all 4 in some sort of kill squad or charge. You want to watch earthquake archer queen charges. So this happened on a few of the bases I built that are similar to this, where somebody just came in and they dropped a quake right there, like on the expo compartment, and then they went in with their queen charge right there, and they picked up 2 air defenses, a sweeper, an expo, and the queen, and then they went ahead and they laloed this backside with let me change colors here. and they went with hound and hound, and then loons all over here. It 3-starred surprisingly.
Fighting the sweeper and everything too.
I'm telling. Well, it wasn't this exact.
But still, that's pretty ambitious. Holy cow!
Yeah, something similar to it. So here, let me try and clear this up. My Twiddler isn't cooperating here. All right, did that clear it?
I cleared it up.
All right. Okay, thank you. All right, so yeah, that's just something that happened to me. I was building these bases, and you just want to make sure that you can't go in with the queen charge and pick up too much value. You don't want 2 air defenses of the queen, as well as the expo and the sweeper, because then you can lull the rest, even though it does look very difficult.
So are you a fan of because that's been kind of the shift. You know, there's videos out there about no fly zone with, you know, Bisectatron from One Hive Gazette, and then Cast and Blast Cock with his queen pop, where he was able to basically Lalo the anti-Lalo base. You know, and not only just that, you know, from there they just got a lot of publicity or exposure, but really just the fact of all air defenses on one side of the base, that philosophy, and kind of like what we got here. Is this something that you think is a viable solution moving forward in today's meta, to do what you can to try limit the fresh start 3-stars from Lalo-based attacks?
Yeah, I would pretty much always have either all 4 air defenses on the same side of the base, or like the last base we showed had air defenses at 3 and 9, but just something like that. You don't. I've seen people try where they do like the 4 corners air defenses. I don't have a picture of that kind of base because I've never built one, but that's basically where you have air defense at 12, 6, 3, and 9, and they're pushed to the outside. But those are also pretty easy to Lalo, and then it also opens you up to an Archer Queen walk, because the air defense isn't like on this base. You can see you have that air defense right here at 3 o'clock, and if you walk down here from, I don't think that showed here.
But if you walk, you can only get one and not the other, without investing a wall breaker, I should say.
But if you walk 3 to 12, your healers are going to get sniped.
Oh yeah, good point.
And on these four corner bases, you have, you know, air defenses on all these corners, and it opens up walks very easily, and you can walk and then kill squad into the base and get 2 air defenses, the queen, expo, sweeper, and then Lalo the other side. It's not. I would not recommend it.
Well, I've seen a lot of this style where these air defenses are placed where they are, but the sweepers actually facing the other direction, or the queen actually swapped with the BK. Would you recommend those 2 things, and why or why not? And pretending these were blowing this way, actually it'd be like opposite, and these would be blowing that way, kind of deal. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I did go over this a little bit before, but I do like the sweepers pointing out like that, because to Lalo into the sweeper is much more difficult with the sweeper blowing it back, because you don't want your loons like targeting these defenses, these archer towers and wizard towers really quickly and then just going on. You want that sweeper there to protect them, because if you do come in and try and Lalo from the 6 o'clock side, to say if you took out somehow you took out that 3 to 12 side, I don't know, because the space is too OP, but you know, you took that out and then you come in at 6 for your Lalo. That's actually what you want the attacker to do when you're building, just because now you have a big pack of loons. We can draw this in this white here. You have a big pack of loons traveling over here from defense to defense, and then you have all these wizard towers and archer towers beating on them, and you're going to need, you know, at least a heal spell or something on the balloons. So that's not ideal. You want to take out those archer towers and wizard towers directly, and that's why the sweeper's protecting them. As well as the fact that if you try and dragon that top side. I guess that sweeper is also there as well. So that's the theory behind that. You could have it facing the air defenses, but it would be a little bit more base specific if you wanted to do that.
Is this a hole in your base?
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I built this one on my. I've built quite a few of these bases on my.
Oh, this one doesn't have a bomb tower, huh?
Any hole in the base is where the bomb tower
I'm looking at this going,
yes.
That guy's got a hole in the base. Sorry, my eye can't help.
Yeah, because that. Yeah, that bomb tower would cover the CC, so you can't. There's no way you could scale it with the wizard towers on the other side, and the bomb tower there. And the bomb tower is also on the backside, kind of, to protect against hogs, so it's a little bit of a dual purpose, I guess.
Plus, it's away from all these other ones, because it also serves as a giant bomb. So it's, heal spot, and then it forces another heal spot, basically.
Yep. All right, so that's pretty much all I got on these kinds of air defense bases. I'll go into another picture now and show a different kind of air defense style. Got a little bit unique on this air defense placement. You see, I did not mention this yet, but black mines always go on your air defenses. I don't care how anti-lalo you think your base is.
So don't stop the queen charge with it. You don't care. I know some people try to put it on the edge to take away a healer or two. There's more return on investment on the air defense than there is the healer. Is what you're saying?
Old meta, you could maybe take that risk where you can make sure your base defends Lalo, but now if you're sure your base defends Lalo, it might not defend Lalo. So, you can't risk just throwing your black mines away like that. They're huge. They take out a hound. 2 of them take out a hound.
That's a good point.
So keep those on the air defenses. And typically, I didn't do this on this air defense here, as you can see, but on the one at 2 o'clock, I have them a little spread out, which I do that so if dragons are coming through there, it hits one and it hits the other. So you don't typically want them touching each other if you can, as long as they still cover the air defense. That's just something
that's really
to keep
good
in mind. Yeah. So this base, I have that Tesla farm up there, and I have the air defenses in that 9x9 kind of box right there. So this air defense is really key to stop a walk starting at 12 for those Teslas. If you walk either way, air defense is going to snipe the healers. So that's, that was part of the thought for that Tesla farm right there. And I got the springs and the skellies by it, of course, for hogs. But yeah, this base, it just really separates the air defenses from the wizard towers and archer towers by the queen on the opposite side of the base. And like we were talking about before, you got those sweepers that are covering the those defenses. Because if you think about it realistically, nobody's gonna come in straight at all 4 of those air defenses and stuff, because then they have all those air targeting defenses on the backside. So that's what I was thinking there with the sweepers and the air defense placement. And we'll go over one more base here with a little bit different air defense placement that I've seen recently that has been working pretty well.
Awesome. I'm excited to see it.
Going into this base, we have almost 4 air defenses in a line, kind of. And I saw one of these kind of bases not too long ago, and it's a really good idea. Notice here, you can, if I quake right here at 9:30 or 10 with a charge, I can get 2 air defenses, Expo, Queen. But will you be able to wallow the rest? Maybe. It's going to be close if you come in with 2 hounds from here, and the hounds are going to the core air defenses, and then I got that Tesla farm loaded up on that backside. How about that? Catch me outside. How about
How about that?
So then, with that sweeper there and all those red bombs, the queen charge actually doesn't get a ton of value. It gets like an archer tower, a cannon, some expo, but it doesn't get either the sweepers and only gets 1 archer tower. So that might be a hard Lalo. I don't even think you could do it coming in from like 7 or 6 with your hounds.
Time
to be
alone
honest.
is a deterrent with those storages.
So that's a good component, or just a good layout. That's might even work better than that 2 and 2 that I was talking about before. Something to watch out for. Notice here I got that 9x9 in the core, which that helps out, so somebody can't queen charging it like 3 air defenses or something like that. But you want to make sure that your base can't be queen charge baby dragon. Coming from 6 and you quake over these sweepers. These air defenses are flanking, so you cannot reach those. So that's something you want to look at. You want to check all angles of your base. Make sure a queen charge, like a wall breaker in, and then a quake can't get all 4 air defenses, or even 3. On this base you could get 3, but that's such a big investment. Maybe that would work, to be honest. If you wall breaker it at 3 o'clock and then you quaked, I don't know, you would get some good value there, but you would use all your spells on your queen. But anyway,
I'll just edit that out, right? And then carry on.
So you're basically just putting your air defenses in that line, and then loading up that backside with all your wizard towers, archer towers, and sweepers facing that direction. Probably Teslas, you can go either side. Just screw them up. Teslas can be used, on the outside to make giant bomb spots, or make also very good for making loon pathing more difficult. I like to troll people though, so that's just me.
I will say that your bases have been known to be quite the trolly, like the renaissance of trolliness. I will say that. Peace de la resistance.
I do what I can to stop the fresh triple. So that's basically it. I guess maybe one downside I see with this base is similar to that 4 corners base I was talking about before. An archer queen walk, healers will not be picked off from anywhere. A walk from like 6 to 9 right now. 6 to 9, you can get some good value there, and then maybe you enter for the queen with a kill squad at 9. So that's just something to look out for. Make sure your base doesn't have a ton of walk value. Like this base probably has a good amount of walk value, and no air defenses protecting it. So that's something to be aware of, because if I were to move this 3 o'clock and this 9 o'clock air defense to switch with that elixir storage, well, now you can come in with that queen charge baby dragon attack and take out those 4 air defenses with baby dragons around. So can't have that. As Keegan has probably said before, if you change something on your base, it's going to make it weaker to another attacker, something like that. It's true though. It's true. I didn't say that.
Yeah, correctly. It's where you strengthen one part of your base, you weaken the other.
Okay, I forgot the keyword.
No, but you definitely got trolling down.
Okay. Yeah. So, just some more things to prevent Lalo loon pathing with. You can use mortars and or Teslas to make loon pathing to air defenses difficult. If you have loons so let's say you have an air defense and then a trash right on the outside bordering the wall, you can get loons onto that air defense really quickly. So maybe give that trash a little bit of a buff, maybe a couple extra trash buildings to make that
flight time longer.
Make that loon time, make that flight time longer. Or probably do both if you can. Use a mortar or a Tesla and just make sure that there's that one defense buffer at least to your air defense.
The defensive stopping point, right? Is what you're referencing? Yep.
Yeah. So in this base, I got that going on because I don't have anything outside the wall by those 3 and 9 air defenses, but I have these cannons and mortars right there. And
there's no way a loon's going to go straight for that. It's going to go this way as a stopping point or this way as a stopping point first.
Yeah, so that's something to look out for. Sweepers can, I mean, not sweepers. Teslas can totally mess it up. They can go, all over the place around the air defense if you work on your pathing correctly. Sweepers, try and get them towards the core. I do have them pretty much in the core here. Yeah, sweepers on this base are pretty good placement. Not walkable, of course, and no kill squad that's going for air defenses, and the queen is going to take out that sweeper. So that'll always be in the loons there. Giant bombs, in this meta, I'm going to be honest, are a bit of an afterthought. I build my base anti-lava, and then I look at it, and I have my traps to put in, and I go, okay, where can I put my giant bombs?
Halfway decent attempt. I got to try to make it anti-hog just a little bit. That's funny.
Yeah, you typically want your giant bombs as far towards the outside as you can in between defenses. This base isn't a great example of this. I was mainly just focusing on the lava.
As you should.
But maybe if I... Yeah, as you should. Maybe if I come over here at 3:30 and 8:30 by these mortars, I could throw in a giant bomb behind it or something like that. And then I have these giant bombs in those expo compartments, which could be taken out by a kill squad to get the queen. But just try and get them spread out so you force four heals and more towards the outside, because you want to force those heals early. So when hogs get to the core, they're not under heal. And if they do heal the core, well, now you have a bomb waiting for them that they don't have a heal for.
That's a good rule of thumb. I like how you said that.
Yeah, so that's basically what we're doing with your giant bombs. Probably could do a little bit better job than I typically do with my giant bomb placement. And I also build a lot of 9x9 compartments, which leaves room for spring traps, but not for bombs. And then speaking of spring traps are always directly in between defenses. Occasionally I do, as you can see here, if you look at 420, I have a spring trap right on the outside of that Tesla.
It's a really good placement. Really good.
So if somebody deploys hogs right on that Tesla, they will be springed. And then they'll have to deploy like 3 more. That'll kind of mess up their deployment there. So that's something you can do. I would only do that on like outside Teslas though, not mortars, because mortars are 3 spaces long and Teslas are 2. So you can kind of predict.
I like how you really made the most historically and statistically proven best position to enter at the 420 position, and made that probably a death trap by all those Teslas there. I like how you counter intuitive there to stop the best entry point.
When building a base, never overlook the power of a 420 Tesla farm. And even when attacking, make sure you check that 420 spot to see if there's possible Teslas, because there very well could be. They're just tend to be more powerful in that position.
The 420 squad and monk philosophy would be very proud of this knowledge being shared.
Yeah, little tip for all you beginners out there. So small bombs, we're just going over the traps pretty much right now, winding down. Small bombs are going to be on the outside to make wall breaker fails. So you can see I will circle them in yellow. No, we'll go green. So 1, 2. We can see if I can find them all. 3, 4, 5. There's a hidden one, and oh, there we go. So I looked at the base and I said the 3 and 9 compartments are probably the most likely entry points. Keegan, I assume you would agree. Yeah. So you want your small bombs 3 spaces from the outside. 2 spaces also works. 3 tends to be just a little bit better.
No BS. This is mind opening for me. I have always done 2 tiles from the wall, but I swear to God, I am going to try this. The 3 tiles.
Yeah, I always used 3. I used to use 2 as well. But yeah, I go 3 spaces. I'm gonna try it.
I'm excited now to try this. Like no BS. I'm serious. I almost always do 2, and you're doing 3, and I'm like, I gotta try that out.
A lot of times people they'll place 1 wall breaker, and then they won't even look to see if there's a small one. They'll go 1 wall breaker, and then they'll wait a couple seconds. They'll go rest the wall breakers. With that, bomb 3 spaces, or what was it? 3 spaces? Yes, 3 spaces. When they deploy the rest, it'll clip 1 or 2 of them, and they won't get the wall open.
Is this the master trolley tip that you're giving right now?
Keegan, this isn't troll. This is like everybody knows.
I don't know, man. I swear, but I gotta go back to school. 3 tiles. Hashtag 3 tile spaces.
No, 2 tiles works just as well, but like I said, 3 tiles you can. It's probably you can get maybe 1% more wall breaker fails.
I'll take it though.
So
I'll take
that's what I do. Yep, black mines, as I said before, always going on those air defenses. Just be smart about it. Pair up. You can do 1 on each of the 4, but on this base, you know, if you look at the core air defenses, it's like you don't want a black mine on those. You want them at 9 and 3, just because those are the ones that are for sure going to be wallowed. You know, you don't know about the core air defenses necessarily, so just get 2 on each of those. And then the red bombs, you can space those out throughout the wizard tower, archer tower sections of the base away from the air defenses. I have like 2 by those Teslas and 1 over there by this sweeper wizard tower. Red bombs are good by the wizard towers, but you also need to be very aware of where somebody will drop their hounds when they're trying to wallow your base. So if you look, I will highlight this in blue. I have my red bombs right there, down at like 530. That's basically because if somebody's coming in with a wallow on my 230 air defense, they're probably going to do something like hound and then hound. And that won't pick up those 2 red bombs, and those red bombs will get on the loons. And so that's basically just try and make sure that no hounds will path over your red bombs, because you definitely want those on the loons. They do like nothing to the hounds. They won't do anything to the hounds.
It's a pretty scary side down there at the 530 position. For loons, that is very scary. Looking at it, seeing all those traps.
I'm going to disagree, because compared to that 420 section right next to it, it just doesn't compare. Yeah. So, you know, I'm going to let you have your opinion, but I might disagree. But that is pretty much all I have on the base building tricks and tips. If you have anything else that I may have missed?
No, not at all. In fact, I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your day to walk through this, giving us your tips. I know that for those that aren't aware, you as well as, I'll say his name wrong and I don't care. I do care. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but Belo De Beer, and also Hunter with you were a part of the base building squad for One Hive, for Town Hall 9 specifically, during the Archer Queen Conference Finals last CWL Season 1. And I know that because of those base building, that team that you guys did and that you talked through it and how your brain works basically, I know that it was a pivotal moment and spot as to why we won as a clan, by just, you know, making sure stuff doesn't get fresh cleared. At the end of the day, it's all about trying to stop that fresh clear, and then everything after that is just gravy. So I wanted to call that out, and then give you respect, and also the other 2 clan mates, because I don't want them to feel left out. That was the only thing. Did you have any shout outs that you wanted to give anybody, man, and your final thoughts on this?
I will shout out ASAP Army. If you're looking for a Thursday night of range war, we're your guys. And shout out to the Breakfast Club, of course. Gang right there. But yeah, we did work very hard on those War Whales bases, and probably I think we started a month in advance. And me, Hunter, and Below the Beer, we worked very hard and paid off.
Well, nice job, man. I know I greatly appreciated it, because I used one of your bases. That was from the team, I should say. I think I took Belos. But yeah, really good stuff. Oh, that's all right. Right on. All right. Well, again, thanks. That'll do it for this video. Once again, it's JakeTheRake, or JakeTheRake, and Brutus reminding you guys got to be better than a double, and we will check you next time.